This episode is brought to you by Cellular Performance Institute. Is your body beat up and broken down? Look into stem cells today. It could change your life. Go to cellularperformanceinstitute.com. August 16th, I'll be in Florida at 10th Planet St. Pete. Register at 10thplanetstpete.com. See you there. Join Sam Tripoli and I on the road for Tinfoil Hat Comedy, August 1st in Boston, August 2nd in Connecticut, October 10th in Tulsa, October 11th in Oklahoma City. Go to samtripoli.com for tickets. See you on the road.
I can't believe I won.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Look Into It. Tonight, it's all about this Trump, Epstein chaos that's going on right now with John Harold, also known as Patel Patriot. What's up, John?
Not a whole lot, man. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it's been a while since we talked. A lot has changed. For those out there that don't know who you are and where you're coming from, the continuity of government, all that stuff. You want to briefly or take your time and explain where you're coming from. You know how we're gonna approach this whole Trump, Epstein, Israel, all that shit.
Yeah, so I kind of got my start on social media back in posting to social media back in 2021 after Biden was inaugurated. It was a total surprise to me. I was fully convinced that Trump was going to prevent him from taking office. And when Trump actually walked away, it made no sense. The election was obviously stolen. And then there's all sorts of this other stuff we're finally getting D-class on relating to like the Russia collusion hoax and all those things. There's a lot of crimes by the Biden administration and the people that he was close with. And so I just didn't think Trump would walk away. When he did, I started digging into it and came across this guy talking about this concept called devolution, which is a continuity government plan. And the more I researched into it, I started writing Substacks on it and posting on my own socials about it. And it became really obvious to me anyway, not proven necessarily, because I don't think we're ever going to get proof on it, but there's a ton of circumstantial evidence that Trump left office while implementing some sort of continuity of government plan. And there's a lot of little, contradictions that showed up throughout the Biden administration that alluded to that as well. Not just documentation from Trump's first term, which there's tons of, but also a lot of that. And so, yeah, that's really where I got my, following from or, prominence from is researching and writing about the continuity government plan that I believe Trump put in place while leaving office. And now he's back in there. And I think our last conversation was before Trump was back in office.
Yes, I think it was. Has a lot has changed since he's been back in the White House. The whole Epstein thing, how he's saying that, I can't believe people are into Epstein. He's so boring. To me, that it's so ridiculous for him to say that he can't believe this Jeffrey Epstein guy. I've been talking about him for years. We're kind of fed up with it. It's boring. To me, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
it's hard. No one knows for sure what's going on. But to me, that's almost like code to the people that believe in continuity of government and devolution. And it's like, because why would he say Epstein is so boring? It doesn't make any sense. To me, that was like a little, it's almost, I don't know what to think. Maybe he got, maybe he's in the files.
Could
if
be.
If he was, you would think that the left would have brought that shit out years ago, right?
Exactly.
You would think so. He might be in the files, maybe it's because of that. Or maybe he's not in the files, but Israel's got him by the balls and said, listen, you drop those Epstein files and we're going to kill your grandkids. I don't know. Some kind of threat. Maybe he got threatened, You know, or you know, this is part of the plan. You know, maybe this is the plan. You know, one thing I do know about Trump is he was anti-vax, and then he all of a sudden became the father of the vaccine, and he's Operation Warp Speed. He's so pro-vax all of a sudden, and that didn't make any sense to me because him and he's anti-vax. There's all these tweets where he's like always questioning vaccines, and you know, so I thought, and a few other people thought, like maybe that's part of the plan to kill the vaccine passport, to kill vaccines. He knows that anything that he's super pro for, that it's gonna, you know, his enemies are gonna attack it, right?
Yeah.
So, where are we at now with the vaccine passports? They're basically gone. Like, who has a vaccine passport? They don't even exist anymore. And there's way more anti-vaxxers than ever before.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
not only has the COVID vaccine been fucking thrashed, but all the other vaccines, they're all getting everyone's looking into them now, like the Hep B vaccine. All this shit's coming out now. You know, it looks like the vaccine industry is pretty much on its way the fuck out. There's so many anti-vaxxers now. So, you know, and still Trump will say, hey, don't forget, I'm the father of the vaccine. Don't forget about me. So to me, that was like, whether it was intentional or not, that was the end result. The end result was, where's the vaccine passport at? I haven't heard about that shit in forever. And vaccines are going fucking down, right? And then you look at like Elon Musk. Like when he all of a sudden became, you know, he was the hero of the left, and then he becomes buddy with Trump, and then the left attacks him and attacks the whole electric car industry, really, because Tesla was, you know, the leader of that
Green New scam.
Yeah. So I even said, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Because Elon, you know, he says a lot of cool shit. Free speech shit. He says a lot of cool shit. He tweets a lot of cool ass shit. But still, he's all on this Mars shit. You know, so I can never fully trust him as long as he keeps saying, oh, we're going to Mars. Oh, Mars, according to NASA, the sun is 93 million miles away. 93 million miles away. The sun. The thing that's just right there, 93 million. And Mars is 140 million miles away. Mars. And we're landing fucking little doom buggies. We're taking pictures and shit. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. We ain't going to fucking Mars. Can't even go to the moon. You're talking about fucking Mars. So every time he starts, and then that fake car that he launched into space, he goes, you could tell it's real because it looks so fake. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a reason behind the whole Mars thing. Like, listen, we got to pretend like we're going to Mars because of this and because of that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, now, but I can't think of a reason why he would lie about Mars. So I never really, I wanted to trust Elon. He's good friends with Joe. Joe's one of my brothers, you know. Yeah. And Joe likes him. I'm like, damn, you know. And then he has all this, I don't know, but I thought, shit, what if Trump is doing him like he did the vaccine? You know, because we know Trump is, you know, he's not into the climate change hoax shit, you know.
Not at all.
That's huge. That's fucking huge. Because if he was like, you know, a deep state, they would just say, just shut the fuck up about the climate thing. We're going to push the climate thing. Shut the fuck up about that. Yeah. You know, there's no reason for him if he's deep state, if he's like a bad guy. Trump is either a good guy or a bad guy. That's it.
Yep.
He's either a good guy or bad guy. So you can't just judge him by what he said about the boring Epstein files. You can't. It sucks. Totally. That's like, dude, damn. I mean, there's a chance. I always said I was 80% down with Trump, 80% he's legit, 20% I'm being fooled here, you know. But I could be, you know, I don't know. Maybe Israel has him by the balls. He's so pro-Israel. You know, I have many Jew friends. I have my son's best friend is Jewish. My wife's best friend's Jewish. Like, I have Jewish black belts. Last night I'm hanging out with like 2 or 3 Jewish friends that I love like brothers. But just like the American government, just like the Mexican government, is the Israeli government. That's fucking some corrupt ass shit.
100%.
And every time you get attacked and get labeled as anti-Semitic because you're talking shit about the government or like Mossad, that's proof. That's proof right there. Like,
totally agree.
Like, you're calling me anti-Semitic because I'm talking shit on the government? Damn. It makes me believe in it more. Like, damn. I was like, oh. Now, like, you could say anything you want about the Mexican government. I'm Mexican. I talk shit on, like, I'm not going to praise the Mexican government, just because I'm Mexican. But then we got Jewish people living here that, like, no matter what, they're like pro-Israel. Like, yo, you never even been there, and Jews aren't like from Israel. You know what I mean? It's like Jews are everywhere, and so to constantly back Israel because you're Jewish and just say, oh, they're not corrupt. They're not fucking killing people unnecessarily, to say the least. Come on. Like, I'm not going to defend the Mexican government. Like, oh, the Mexican government's not corrupt because I'm Mexican and I'm not going to turn my back on the Mexicans. It's just doesn't make any sense, right? So I don't know, man. The whole Epstein thing.
I got some thoughts on it for you. I can.
But let me before I pass it off to you. This is my final thought on it. For sure, him saying that if they're gonna fucking close the case on the Epstein files, and then no one's gonna get arrested besides Ghislaine. There's nobody on the files. That's not good, man. That's not good. So maybe Israel threatened him. Maybe the Mossad threatened him. Maybe the CIA threatened him. Maybe they threatened his grandkids, or maybe he's in the files, and maybe he did go to the island. Maybe he is like, I didn't see him on the list. That there's been lists floating out for years, and there's a lot of celebrities on that list, and you never see Trump on there, but he might be in the files, man. Maybe he did some dirty ass shit. I don't know. It doesn't look good him saying that shit, but it also the way he said it. Is he pulling that Operation Warp Speed on us? Because right now, just like there's more anti-vaxxers than ever before, there's also more people that are aware of what's really going on in the Middle East right now. So is Trump pulling that Operation Warp Speed again? And is he? I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't want to make I'm not going to say I know for sure. You think anybody that thinks they know for sure, shit changes all the time. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. What do you think's going on?
Man, so there's a lot there. And I want to go through kind of each of them and what you said. So first of all, the Epstein stuff, this is such an emotionally charged issue. And it should be, because the underlying, idea of what's happening in these Epstein files is child pedophilia, elites using it as blackmail material, all sorts of bad stuff, and people should be concerned and want to know if that stuff was taking place. But if you go back and look, and I've done this, and I've challenged people to prove me wrong on this, the only time Trump has ever mentioned the Epstein files without being questioned first, the only time I've found evidence of him doing it was in March of 2016. So February of 2016. I think it was Wired or Gawker puts out the story that Bill Clinton is in the Epstein flight logs. Okay. Then the next month in March, within 30 days, Trump is on stage at one of the presidential, or it was at CPAC, I think. And he's doing this interview, and they're asking him a bunch of questions, and they're giving him names. So like, we're going to give you a name. You give us like a quick comment on the person. And they go through a list of names, and they get to Bill Clinton. And this is, again, the only time I've seen him unprompted mention the Epstein files. And he says, I think Bill Clinton's going to have a lot of issues coming up with the whole Epstein files situation. That's kind of paraphrasing, but that's essentially it.
Yeah. It's a very popular video.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Outside of that, from the time he got inaugurated in January of 2017 until today, the only time Trump has ever mentioned Epstein is when somebody asks him a question. He never had it at any campaign rallies. He never had it. Like, he never brings it up unprompted. It's always like somebody like, are you going to declassify the Epstein files? And he's like, yeah, I'll look into that. I'll maybe do that. I'm sure I'll do that. There were even some interviews where they edited out the clip that they played, or they edited the clip that they played and edited out the part where he said he had issues with what potentially could be in the files. So the reason I said all that is a lot of the reason people are upset that they haven't been declassified is because there's been this like almost lore created around what is in the Epstein files. And it's so funny because we make all these assumptions of what is in the Epstein files because a whole bunch of influencers online have built this idea of what's in these Epstein files, yet we don't even know for sure if that's true. And if we did, we wouldn't be demanding the Epstein files. You know what I mean? It's like we want these Epstein files to feed some sort of confirmation bias that we all have about them. And I'm victim of it too. Like I always assumed what people have been saying is in these Epstein files are in there. But then on June 5th, Cash Patel goes on your buddy Joe Rogan's show. And I don't know if you saw that interview, but
Yes,
Cash was,
I did.
I loved it because Joe Rogan was finally asking like the questions to somebody who would know like what is in these files. Like, are we going to see what we've been expecting to see in these files? And he asked it like multiple times. And Cash Patel's like, no, man, like the conspiracies aren't true. You're not going to see what you're expecting to see.
AI, stem cells, they could do some wild shit down there.
You know, I got the stem cells in my shoulder. My shoulder was jacked. I went down there, worked, man.
Eric Anders' neck was up, and then he went down and got stem cell treatment. Now it doesn't bother him at all anymore.
I definitely recommend CPI. It's changed my life. The best stem cell clinic in the world.
I just come and I do stem cells to make sure that I'm resetting my body and staying healthy.
It regenerates tissue, reduces inflammation. The results are amazing.
CPI stem cells is where you want to go. There's no other place in town. They do the best work in the world. I feel incredible.
If there's anything causing you to not live the quality of life that you like, then this investment is more than worth it.
When it comes to the science of stem cells, no one comes close to CPI. There's not even a close second.
For a free doctor call to see if stem cells is the right option for you, visit us at cpistemcells.com.
Like we don't have enough to go after. There's nothing there that's going to allow us to go after third parties. It just is what it is. And so on that day, I started saying, like, guys, I think the Epstein situation's a rug pull. I think they're going to pull the rug on us, and everybody's going to be pissed off. But Cash Patel said it. Like, why would he lie about that? And then the memo comes out on, July 4th weekend, Sunday, July 4th, and everybody's pissed, trying to like justify, like, no, this has to be fake. There's no way this is real. And then they come out and confirm it was real, and everybody's pissed. Everybody thinks there's this cover up, and everybody now is demanding the Epstein files because it's such a politically charged issue against Trump. And what Trump is saying and his reaction to people and when he's getting asked about it now is like, there's really nothing there. And we don't even know if it's fake or not. And there's fake stuff in there. We don't know what's credible. And then the story we get from the Wall Street Journal just this last week, what was it, last Friday? Like this clearly fake letter from Trump to Epstein and a drawing and all these things. How come that never came out any time over the past 10 years when these people on the left have been trying to take down Trump for 10 years? Like, it doesn't make sense that just magically appeared out of nowhere. It's like somebody asked Grok to imagine a letter that Trump would write to Epstein, and this is what AI came up with as the letter. The whole thing's ridiculous. So what I think happened, what I assume happened, is at some point while Trump was not in office, I mean, there's a lot of hands touching these files in these cases, whatever credible evidence that they used to have in the Epstein files was destroyed, damaged, or they inserted stuff. Like we don't know what we don't know. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think that we are going to get what we want to see from the Epstein files. They've petitioned 3 courts so far for grand jury transcripts, and the Florida one already turned it down. That was this morning. So there's 2 potential opportunities left. They're both going to be decided by the same judge out of New York. I'm skeptical we're going to get anything, but at least Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys are in agreement or potential agreement about those files being released. So it's possible. We'll see. But even so, Trump and Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi and all these people have all said now, and Cash Patel, that it's never going to be enough. Like, no matter what comes out, even if all these grand jury transcripts come out, people are still going to be demanding more and more and more. They're always going to think it's a cover up. And I think that's because so many people, anything short of like Bill Clinton raping a kid and Hillary Clinton cutting the face off a kid and wearing it like that, whatever that story was, anything short of those things being in the files that come out, nobody's going to believe it's true, and everybody's going to think it's a cover up. So what was it? Here's another point. Trump equates it to the Russia collusion hoax and the Hunter Biden laptop. Those were narrative stories, deployments that were pushed by the intelligence community and also pushed by the media to delegitimize Trump, essentially. It was weaponized against Trump. Narratives weaponized against Trump. And part of me wonders, like, who created this lore around the Epstein files? And when Trump says it's comparative to those things, who is the ones that are demanding the transparency and using it as political points against Trump? And was that the whole purpose the whole time? Like, you see the whole Bindergate thing, you had all those influencers go to Pam Bondi, they get the binders, they come out, and they're the ones that are like the most upset because they kind of got made to look like fools during that whole situation. Everybody was pissed off at these guys because they were like celebrating with their cute little binders, but it was nothing new, no new information in there. And they've essentially been weaponized against Trump. And that's another thing too, this whole transparency, the most transparent administration in history, it wasn't Trump who coined that phrase. It was somebody else in the administration. So yeah, I think it's a narrative deployment, man. I don't know. I'm skeptical we're going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, really. You know, the one guy who probably knows more about Epstein and all the shit, all the people he dealt with is Ryan Dawson. You familiar with Ryan Dawson?
I've heard the name.
He knows everything about Epstein, and it's all the dark stuff, the blackmail stuff, everybody that was involved, and he knows so much more than anybody I've ever heard. He knows, he says, he goes, listen, there's no list. That's all bullshit. Like, why would Epstein make a list of everybody that had sex with kids? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, why would he do that? And the list don't mean nothing. It would just be names, and there would be no proof, you know. So really, the only list that matters is the list that the FBI would make, a list where they question all the victims and take a list of all the names that they're claiming abuse them, you know. So, you know, and even that's just. You know, he said, she said shit. Really, the evidence is in the videos, the videotapes. So we shouldn't be demanding. We shouldn't be demanding a list. The list ain't gonna prove shit. What are you gonna do? There, like, if a name's on the list, some celebrity. Let's say Les Wexner. He's on the. His name's on a list, right? You think you're gonna put him in jail? It's gonna take 2, 3, 4 years to go through court, and then they're gonna do what they did with Diddy. You know, he's like, what's the point of all that? You know, you need concrete, irrefutable evidence. A list is not evidence. There's a list with a bunch of names, and then, you know, what do? Take them to court and indict each one of them, and then what? They're going to deny it. They're going to say, yeah, I went on the island, but I didn't do shit. You know, I didn't see any kids. You know, I went twice or 3 times. How are you going to prove it? It's just going to be a bunch of wasted time in court, in my opinion. You know, what you need is the video. Once you see the video, then you're like, now what? Boom. Then you could, you know, you have concrete evidence to take people down.
But see that part, the video evidence that everybody points to, like, because I know when they went and raided his place, they found videos, but nobody knows for sure what's on those videos. We're being told by the FBI it's child porn. We haven't been told, I don't think, that it's blackmail material. And I think that's where the conspiracy aspect comes in, like what Cash Patel said. Like, a lot of people came in and filled the void. I think that's the quote that he said. And including him, by the way, because he was out there saying there's a lot of things on these Epstein files that, you know, turned out now he's saying is not true. Well, what if that's the case? What if it's not true that the Epstein situation is not what we thought it was? Not to saying that these crimes don't happen or that blackmail doesn't happen, but why did it get to be such a big thing with this specific case? Is it possible that our preconceived notions about it were kind of exaggerated or wrong? And then another thing, too, that people always forget is the underlying crime that's being committed here is crimes against children, right? And that's why everyone's like, oh, it's such a big, important issue because these are crimes against children. And obviously everybody should care about that. But they're kind of glossing over the fact that Trump has been the most, you know, prominent president ever to go after human trafficking. Just him shutting down the border alone and what that's done for child trafficking in the world is insane. But going back to his first administration, multiple reports, hundreds and thousands of kids that have been saved by the Trump administration and things he's done. He has gone time and time again to bat to save children from human trafficking and sex trafficking and all these things. And so for people to get so upset about this Epstein thing when we still don't even know exactly what's in there. And if you can't claim to know what's in there, otherwise you wouldn't be demanding for the files, right? Like that's the thing. It's like, I know what's in there. Okay, well, if you know that, why are you demanding for the files? Because everybody's demanding the files because they want to feed their confirmation bias.
Yeah. Like I said, names on a list on a piece of paper, that's not going anywhere, you know. But the videos, videos, that's different. But if there were videos, and I'm sure there were, I believe he ran a blackmail operation. I believe he blackmailed powerful people, super powerful people. I mean, with his connections with Les Wexner and Ghislaine Maxwell, her father, you know, like, I believe for sure, like, that he blackmailed powerful people, and he's got them on video. But during Biden's administration, don't you think those videos would be fucking lit on fire?
Maureen Comey just got fired. She was the one that was handling the case. She was the prosecutor of the Diddy case and the Epstein cases. Yeah. And she got fired like 2 days later.
The Biden administration was in complete control of all that shit for 4 years. You don't think, like, if the powerful people connected to Obama and Biden, they would have for sure pressured him, like, just where are the videotapes? Let's gather them all up and fucking light them on fire. Like, why wouldn't they do that? Why would they have video there sitting at the Department of Justice or at the FBI headquarters? Like, why would there be videos? Why wouldn't it be destroyed? It's the most powerful people in the world, all over the world. Why wouldn't they? I mean, look how powerful Israel's in regards to, like, our government. Like, to think that those videos are still in existence is mind-boggling to me, because those things are destroyed, in my opinion. And whatever's on a list, where's that going to go? You know what I mean?
You know, the one thing I will say is, if there is some sort of, like, bigger investigation or something going on behind the scenes, those videos, like, they probably wouldn't be in control of like DOJ. They wouldn't have been left there. Who knows what happened to them? But I'm not completely writing off the possibility that there is something like bigger going on behind the scenes in terms of that aspect. I'm not going to completely write it off, because anything's possible. But yeah, I have been telling my audience anyway to, like, temper your expectations with the Epstein stuff, because I don't think we're going to get the justice we want. And I think it's in a little intentional rug pull, because this is the most divided, I would say, at least around this issue, that Trump's base has ever been. I can't remember a time going back to even when he was out of office, and, like, you know, there were DeSantis ops and all these other things going on about somebody replacing Trump. All those little instances of political weaponization and DeSantis and all these campaigning and everything, that galvanized his base, and his support only got stronger. But this one issue, the Epstein issue, an issue that he never mentioned once on the campaign trail, it wasn't his issue, but yet somehow this is, like, what's fracturing his support the most, we're told. I don't know, man. It's too convenient. It seems more like a narrative op than anything to me. Yeah, or there is some irrefutable evidence in these files, and there is, but this is just, you know, like what I was saying before. Trump was anti-vax, and all of a sudden he's super pro-vax, and then what does that do? It kills the vaccine industry. Then all of a sudden, you know, people say, why didn't Trump fire Fauci? Why didn't he? Because if he would have fired Fauci, no one would know anything about Fauci. Now he put the spotlight on Fauci. Everybody knows what's going on, and they went back and looked at AIDS and all that shit. So it's like he put shit in the spotlight. To think he's not aware that whatever he pushes is going to be destroyed by the deep state or the libtards. You can't be thinking that way. He has to know that, right? Yeah. So just like he brought in Elon, you know, they were buddy for a little bit. Now Elon's fucking talking mad shit. He's saying, yo, you're in the fucking Epstein files. Like, whoa, dude, that guy, Elon just stabbed Trump in the back, like, you know, at full force. So, but you know what? What's up with the EV mandates are gone, right? You know, and then people hate Tesla now. So maybe that was the plan. Maybe it wasn't the plan. Maybe that was just like what ends up happening. Maybe he is proud of being the father of the vaccine, and it just killed it anyways. You know, maybe he's that dumb where he's like, or maybe he knows exactly what he's doing, and that's maybe there is some, and just like
no one really knew what was going on in the Middle East is in regards to our government and the CIA and the connections. No one really knew. It was like super underground. And if you ever said anything about it, you would get crushed. But now everybody's talking about it. Candace, Dave Smith, fucking Jimmy Dore. Everyone's talking about this shit, the Middle East situation. Yeah. And more than ever. It's like, so, and look at Trump. He's wearing a yarmulke. He's kissing that wall. He's like fucking buddy with Bibi Netanyahu. Every now and then he fights with them. They fight a little bit, but he's so pro-Israel. He's so, that's scary. It is scary. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like you shouldn't be that, like all the, every day there's some new clip, some new post, some new picture, some new video with Trump, sucking that Israel dick, and it's scary as fuck. And I'm like, God damn, I hope this is like some undercover shit, because it does not look good,
Yeah.
It does.
I have a buddy of
but
mine.
at the same time, he's so pro-Israel that everything's being brought out into the light. And so people are talking, people didn't talk about like AIPAC before. No one even knew what the fuck AIPAC was. Now everybody knows what AIPAC is. Everybody knows, you got to register as a foreign lobby. I didn't know that shit before. Everybody knows that shit now. So all that shit's coming to light. Why? Maybe whether it was on purpose or whether there's this undercover optic strategy going on or whatever. Maybe he really is pro-Israel and he really wants to be Jewish and he loves Israel just as much as America. Maybe that's true, but just like the vaccines, just like Elon Musk, it's waking people up, and so maybe there is some evidence. Some hardcore, irrefutable evidence in the Epstein files. But Trump is like, you know what? I'm going to say they're boring. And I'm going to say you guys are weaklings. Whoever's into it is a weakling. And then that just, everybody wants to push that shit out now. Like the Epstein files are the hottest thing in news right now. It's all about the Epstein files.
Yeah.
And it was because Trump said they were boring.
Yeah. I mean, no, everybody for sure is like demanding the Epstein files on both sides, which is super fascinating. But I still don't think we're going to get what we want to see out of them. And it just is what it is. But now we have all this other declassification to the Israel thing. That is such a fascinating topic as well. When, me and my friends, we criticize Israel a lot, but we don't necessarily mean like the Israel people or the Jewish faith or anything. It's every country has a good twin and an evil twin. It's like if you said that, if Israel was talking shit about the United States, are they talking shit about Biden and his government when they are in office? Or is there like Trump and MAGA and America First people? Like every country has a good twin and an evil twin. And I think Trump is the one that's going around. And what he's doing is exposing the evil twin in many of these countries. And Israel's is the most fascinating one to me because not just their ties to the United States and their financial ties and the lobbying and all those things, the anti-Semitism laws, like for whatever reason, we have the First Amendment unless it comes to criticizing Israel. That's where our First Amendment, that's where that dies apparently, which is totally wrong. But so think back to this war that was in the Middle East, the 12-day war, right? Did you know that on the day that Netanyahu went to bomb was a day that he was having a vote to like remove him from power as president? There was a vote in the Knesset. I hear
there's it's just like I've said this before as well, man. It's like we're seeing all these videos of like what's going on in Israel, and some videos are like, there's like Israelis, all dressed up in their Jewish outfits with the hats and the curls and shit. There's so many videos of them saying, death to the goyim, and we are the chosen people, and everyone else is underneath us. There's a lot of, so when you see those videos, you're like, fuck, dude.
אמורים להיות.
אוקיי, מה זאת אומרת, כאילו, אמורים להיות?
לפי מה שכתוב בתורה, הגויים אמורים להיות העבדים שלנו.
שהגויים יהיו העבדים שלנו?
כן, כתוב שאחרי ביאת המשיח, אני אומר, כתוב אחרי ביאת המשיח, אני לא יכול להביא את הפסוק המדויק, אבל כתוב שאחרי ביאת המשיח יהיה מלחמה מאוד מאוד גדולה, ובסופו של דבר, כן, הגויים יהיו עבדים של היהודים במשך תקופה, ואחרי זה העולם יחזור כאילו לקדמותו. זה מה שאני...
אוקיי, ומה זה אומר עבדים? כאילו, יהיו בשרשרות? כאילו, מה, אנחנו נרביץ להם? כאילו מה?
לא. על כל... טוב, אני לא עוד פעם להביא את המספר המדויק, על כל יהודי אמור להיות 800 או יותר עבדים, ועבדים זה משהו שהוא, אתה יודע, אני לא יכול להגדיר אותו היום, כי אין עבדות היום, אבל זה משהו שקשה מאוד להגדיר אותו. אני מניח כי התורה מצווה.
Where in the Torah does it say this, by the way?
In the Zohar.
The Zohar is not the Torah, the Talmud.
כן. אסור לצלם, תעצור.
Why?
הזוהר, תורה, גמרא, חומש, תהילים, הכל, it's one big Torah.
Okay, you're talking about everything in Judaism. I'm talking about the 5 books of Moses.
No, everything is together. It's not separate.
Okay, but so where is it in the Zohar? It's actually written in the Zohar. What's written in the Zohar?
What's written? That all the humankind will want to be a servant for the Jewish people.
Israel got some crazy motherfuckers, but it's just like a video of someone from Israel taking a video clip from the United States, like the KKK or something, and interviewing them. And they're saying, white people are, supreme, and black people and Mexicans, they're animals. You know what I mean? And so it's like, just like you said, there's a good twin and an evil twin, and people forget about that with Israel. There's millions of people trying to get Netanyahu out, right?
Yep, including his own government. And that's what's so fascinating. Like, so he's got these criminal charges brought against him, and he's supposed to have a trial, and it keeps getting delayed because he keeps going to war with Gaza and with Iran and all these things. And his vote to even stay in power got delayed for 6 months because he decided to go start this war with Iran. And then you're having this back and forth conflict. We're sending them weapons. We're sending them support. And I think what Trump did was actually kind of fascinating, because I'm 100% totally against American boots, money, weapons, anything being involved in any foreign war anywhere. Like, I'm sick of it. I don't want us to have to send money to Israel. I don't want to have to send our people over there. I don't want to do anything. But I can understand the game theory and the brilliance behind what Trump did, because, and the whole thing was so stupid too. Like, it was retarded, man. We told Iran, like, hey, we're going to come bomb your nuclear facilities. Get out of there. A week before we even did that thing, Trump's on TV saying, yeah, like, we can do it, and there can be no casualties, and it can be great, and they can be gone, and all these things. And all this is taking place while Trump and Steve Witkoff are negotiating with Iran to denuclearize. Okay, so think about this. If Trump and Witkoff and the United States come to this denuke agreement, it would logically follow that they wouldn't have nuclear sites anymore, because they're not going to be enriching their uranium to the point where they would need them for nuclear weapons. And so it would make sense they would get rid of their facilities. So while they're on the cusp of that agreement being done, Israel starts bombing them. And then the whole reason is because, we're days away from seeing Iran with a nuclear weapon. We're days away. Trump goes over there in the middle of the night, bombs the facilities, which would have been no longer existed as part of the agreement anyway, takes away Israel's entire reason for a war anymore. The entire narrative reason for the war is gone, just like that. Has to end the war, has to end the conflict. Israel can't bomb Iran anymore because their justification for doing so is completely gone. And then when Iran comes to respond, they tell the United States, like, hey, we have to bomb you for retaliation purposes, just to appease our base and all the warmongers in our country. So just be careful, because we don't want anybody to die. So we give them a heads up, destroy their facilities. They give us a heads up and try to bomb us back. No casualties on either side. What kind of fucking war is that, man? What kind of war is it when both sides are giving each other advance notice of their public bombings so that nobody is actually killed? That's not a real war. That's a fake war.
Yeah, and nuclear bombs are fake. I mean, have you touched on that yet?
Oh yeah, I've gone down that rabbit hole.
It's nuclear bombs are so fucking fake. It's
exactly.
So fake. Like, we really care that Iran is, they're working on a nuclear, it's like a comic book movie. Everybody's working on a nuclear fucking bomb. Everybody. But when you dive deep into the history of the invention of the nuclear bomb, the atom bomb, it's bullshit, man. It was a theory. It was a theory that, oh, if we can split an atom inside of a bomb, the explosion will be exponential instead of like a conventional bomb, just like a carpet bomb, just boom, just like one big explosion. But the nuclear bomb it'll explode and they just keep going, and then the whole world will be contaminated for 5,000 years or whatever it is. It's
narrative weapon.
So when they're talking about going into different countries and because they're worried about a nuclear bomb, it has nothing to do with that shit. Like, what's the real fucking reason? It's got to be the central banks, right? It's got to be that. It's
Could
like
be.
they don't really give a fuck about nuclear bombs. It's like but what about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Japan got 22 cities in World War II. 22 cities got wiped off the mat by carpet bombing, not with nuclear. And this is like mainstream history. 20 plus cities got completely leveled. They got carpet bombed, regular conventional bombs. But Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they got the special bombs. They got the special ones, the ones where you can't. There's going to be radiation, nuclear radiation for whatever it is, 500 years, 5,000 years, whatever it is. But it looks like they all got carpet bombed. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they all got carpet bombed. How do you look at an explosion and go, oh, that's a nuclear bomb? Nobody knows what a nuclear bomb looks like. It's like money. Nuclear bombs are like money laundering. Like, oh, you're still making bombs? There's more nuclear bombs. We haven't even launched. There's never been since Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We're making all these where are these nuclear missiles at? Where are they at? Where are these? We keep in the 80s. Fuck, everybody's like, make more bombs, nuclear. Like Reagan was like, oh shit, we're gonna fucking, $500 trillion fucking dollars for the military budget, and everyone was like, yeah, we can't let Russia. And meanwhile, now we look at all those nuclear, those films with like nuclear tests where they show. Everyone thought they were real. Everyone thought they were real back in the 50s, where they show
models.
They're fucking models.
Yeah.
Even the skeptics know they're models. Because me and Joe, there's a video on YouTube where I'm on JRE, and we're talking about how I feel about nuclear bombs, and Eric Dubé is the one who got me on that. As soon as I heard it, and it didn't take me long for me to believe it. It's because it's basically like, oh, that's some more bullshit that we were brainwashed to believe in the 80s. But
that's just it. It's brainwashing, man.
Yeah.
It's fear. They try to use fear to control you.
They need
it's
like
compelling.
Like if I start whether nuclear bombs really exist or not, and all the nuclear test of video footage, even the skeptics. There was a guy on Joe Rogan's podcast. Me and Joe argued for like an hour. He's basically just smashing me, with ridicule. And I stood my ground. I'm like, dude, you're not going to convince me the nuclear bombs are real. But then he has this other guy, like a year or two later, maybe 3 years later, and the guy's telling him, those nuclear films, those nuclear bombs, they're fake, and then they're watching them on his podcast, and like Joe's like, oh, like damn, it is fake. They're so fake. It's so fake.
Yeah.
So if I got launched into another dimension in another empire, and I was I was on the council for all the decision making for this new world. I would go, dude, I would fake the nuclear thing. I would go, because you don't even need nuclear bombs. You just need the fear of nuclear bombs.
Oh, 100%.
So as soon as a country doesn't want to play ball, just say, you know what? I think they're trying to enrich some uranium. Oh shit. Yeah. They're trying to make a nuclear bomb. We got to go in there, and it's just the ultimate excuse to invade a country and have all your people behind it, supporting it, just the fear of
terrorist regimes with the rogue nuke.
Yeah. They don't need to be real. They do not need to be real. The perception just needs to be real. That's it.
Yeah.
And think about all the money laundering that's going on with these, with like making nuclear bombs. Like they making shit. And then have you looked into the nuclear waste and that whole scam? Like, because they have to,
I don't think so.
They have to put a lot of money into nuclear waste. Like, they have to bury shit, and there's these operations, and that's a money laundering as well.
Of course, it all is.
According to conspiracy theorists, because they need a budget to bury this nuclear waste, and we need money. We're gonna need like $10 billion every year. So just like NASA's the biggest money laundering agency. That they get $19 billion. It's probably more now, but they got like $19-20 billion a year, and they don't have to show anything for it. There's nothing. All they need is a decent green screen like this one, where they gotta keep going to the space station. Oh, they need money for the space station. There's a video. Man, I can't find it no more, but it's like in Congress, and there was like someone from NASA, like the head of NASA, is trying to get more money from Congress. And like this one congressman's going, okay, so, and this was like probably 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And the congressman's like, okay, so what do you, when are we going back to the moon? He goes, no, we're going to go back to the moon, but first we need to make 4 more stops at the International Space Station. He goes, okay. But when are we going to the moon? He goes, no, we're going to the moon after that. Okay, so after that. And then what about Mars? First we got to get to the moon. First we need these four stops at the International. He goes, yeah, I know that. But when are we going to the moon again? So there's an actual debate in Congress for with NASA and some congressmen, and NASA's begging for money. And it was like 20 years ago.
It's crazy. We must have just lost that technology, right, to get back to the moon. Isn't that just
They
silly?
destroyed it. They destroyed it. You've seen that clip, right?
Yeah. But the whole thing. I love the debates over like the nuke stuff and whether space is real or Earth is flat, because I don't know one way or the other. And both sides of the argument make it like I could see. I'm not a scientific person. I'm more of an analytical, like research, type of thing, but not with the numbers.
Yeah.
And so both sides can make a convincing math argument to me, and I can be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I don't really give a shit. That's the thing. What I do know and what I give a shit about is that our government is lying to us about everything.
Yeah.
And so they probably have a purpose to lie to us about this too. And so, yeah, like the new stuff.
It's the biggest lie. What we're on is the biggest lie. That's the biggest lie.
That's probably.
It's the biggest, like what we're on. That's the most important thing. That's why I'm into it. I'm into politics too, because politics I understand, like, Alex Jones, me and him, I go on his show and I want to talk about flat earth and all that shit, and space is fake and all that shit. And he says the same thing. He goes, listen, all I care about is what's going on with, here in my country and in politics, because that's what affects me. Whether the earth is flat or round doesn't affect me. I get that. But if it doesn't, the truth should matter, especially where we're at, because it's way beyond Trump. It's way beyond Trump. But we're affected by Trump the most because that's the immediate effect of what's going on with our taxes and crime and fucking jobs and income tax and all that shit. That affects us right away. But the whole it all comes from them lying to us about where we're at and where we come from.
Well, let me say this. Did you see the Sean Ryan interview with that General Stephen Quass?
No.
The guy who talked about space and China mining on the other side of the moon and all these things.
Yeah. When I hear shit like that, I turn it off. I'm like,
so this guy though, he's a former 3-star general. He was in line to be Trump's director of the space force.
Yeah.
And he comes to a lot of our conferences. I've gotten to know him personally. Like, this guy's flown thousands of missions, and like I've developed a trust for him. And so while I don't fully trust anybody, period, like I just don't. I've been burned so many times, especially since I started doing this stuff. Everybody's got, whatever. But he's such a good guy. When he tells me, like, his current gig is they send, things to the moon to send back data and all these things. It's hard for me to listen to him talk and like look you straight in the eyes and be like, this guy's lying to me, And so, this is where it comes to me not really, I feel like I don't have skin in the game, because there's so many of my close friends that are convinced that the earth is flat, space is fake, space is fake and gay, like all these different things. There's no such thing as like going to Mars and whatever. It's all projections, and all that could be true. And some of these guys make some incredible arguments for it too. But then there's also people that aren't associated with government that I've gotten to know personally, that I've like trust, that are like, I've been in an airplane up in the sky, and like I can tell you the shape of what I can tell the Earth. You know, like that's where I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to kind of disassociate from this argument.
I get it. And you know what? All the research and time you put into American politics.
Constant.
That will definitely, if you come out as a flat earther, that's definitely going to reduce your credibility for sure. That's just the way it works, you know.
Which is stupid too, because like you should be able to talk about anything and not have like your one opinion about the shape of the Earth like be what delegitimizes you in other people's eyes, especially if your other information is good.
And this comes up every now and then. I'll have someone on my podcast that, like this one guy in particular that's in my mind. He is like the number one. He is in the field of science. I don't want to say what field, but he's like up there in a certain conspiracy theory, but on the scientific edge. And you can't argue with this guy. And it has nothing to do with flat Earth. Has nothing to do with space. It has something to do with what's going on right here in the United States. And he's a full flat earther, and he's just like, just don't bring it up, dude. Just don't bring it up. It's gonna fuck up my work. And I get it.
Really?
I get it. Oh yeah. Like
what a bitch.
That's quite common. You don't want to, as soon as you admit you're a flat earther, anything you say about anything else, people just say the dude believes the Earth's flat. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, I was secret about it for about 18 months. I didn't want to tell nobody, because I was your, typical standard conspiracy theorist talking shit. I was talking shit back when there was like 3 people. It was like Alex Jones, a couple people, and me on the biggest podcast in the biggest show in the world. And I'm sitting there putting my fucking ass on the line, sticking my neck out, saying all this crazy shit. I was worried back then, but now there's so many people doing it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so irrelevant now. For all your 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu merchandise, please visit 10thplanetjj.com/shop. We also got a Look Into It t-shirt that just dropped. Thank you very much for your support. I love it. I love being irrelevant. There's people saying way crazier shit than me now. I'm like, you go. I'm retired. I do one podcast a month. I used to do one every week. I'm like, that's a job. One a month. I love it. Oh my God, that's the life. That's podcast great, a month. Last month I had Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins. That was the greatest podcast I've ever done.
Besides the ones you've done with me, right?
You're like you're top
just kidding.
You're top
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So
I want to talk to you a little bit about what you said too about the vaccine thing, because I have a list of people that you should have on your show sometime, and I think you'd have some fascinating discussions with.
Like who?
Some former Ella guys. Chris Paul. He's a guy I do every Saturday night. I do a show with him on my network on Badlands Media on Rumble. He's the most brilliant guy I've ever met in my life. Like he has a philosophical background, like he studied philosophy, but he used to work in LA at the clubs, and like he used to be a club promoter in LA. And then when COVID happened, he just like, holy shit, like what is going on? And it just like completely warped his perception on everything. And he woke up and he broke away, and now he's just brilliant. And we were talking on our show this last weekend about Trump, and we always used to talk about how Trump takes like both sides of an issue. And the way he described it is Trump will play good cop and bad cop on the same issue, so that it kind of like takes him out of the equation entirely and makes whatever the actual, whatever the principled argument for the issue is stand on its own. So if you look at like something like the vaccine, Trump has, you said, been pro-vaccine, and he's also been like anti-vaccine. He's done both. And so the people who will take a side of an argument just because Trump said it, they can't do that because he also said the opposite. And then the people who will always take the opposite side of what Trump said just because Trump said it can't do that either because he's also done the opposite. And then what's left is the argument itself, which the two sides will have to argue just based on the principles, and whatever the right principle of the argument is will end up winning out. And it's such an interesting concept when you recognize Trump doing that. He does that with so many things. Like he does it with his endorsements. He does it with the bills. Just a year ago, when Biden was trying to pass that 1,400-page bill, he's like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. 1,400 pages. We should do single issue bills, whatever." And then now he's like, passed the big, beautiful bill. And there's this whole fight with Elon Musk over this bill, which, by the way, that bill had a ton of bullshit in it. Yet there's so many people that are like, well, Trump wants the bill. We should all want the bill, which I don't think Trump wants anybody to do. He wants people to think for themselves. And if you're thinking for yourselves, you can look at the bill and recognize all the bloat and bullshit in there. And Trump knows that too. Trump's not stupid. But Trump is the only one that I will give the benefit of the doubt to as to constantly engaging in like narrative warfare and psyops, which is a far more prevalent topic than people realize. People need to understand how much of what you consume on social media and TV is just a fucking fake psyop. Like everything is a psyop all the time. It's so hard to figure out what's actually going on. And that's, I think, why Trump does it too, is because when you do both sides, it makes it a little easier to recognize, even if you don't actually understand it, that, well, okay, well, what's going on here? Trump just endorsed Lindsey Graham, but then last year he said Lindsey Graham is like a douchebag, and I take full responsibility for endorsing Lindsey Graham. Like, those are two completely polar opposite sides of the argument. What does Trump actually want here? And then you don't know, so then you just
a spotlight on Lindsey Graham.
Or it could be, or he's putting a spotlight on it. Like, you don't know the reason why Trump does what he does. And that's another great example. Like, is he doing it just to highlight it and get everybody else on board? Because he can coalesce everybody around the same issue by taking both sides of it too. It's a brilliant perspective to have on Trump. Good cop, bad cop. Chris Paul.
Yeah. I'll definitely have him on my podcast. Pass me his number. I'll put him on.
Yeah, well.
He sounds awesome.
Oh, he's great, man. You're going to love him.
That's what I'm hoping. I don't know what's going on. It's like a murder mystery, and everyone's guessing who the murderer is. It really is. It's like we're just guessing. But whether Trump is being blackmailed, whether Trump's in the files or not, what has transpired is the Epstein files are the biggest thing in the worldwide. Yeah. And
do you think if Trump was really blackmailed, though, he would have even ran again? Couldn't they have used that blackmail material to say, like, hey, sit this one out?
Totally. Yeah. That's what I think, too. But
yeah.
We just don't really know. They would have definitely used it. Or maybe you could also say, no, they couldn't use it because they're all involved too. So if he goes down, we all go down. So, we can't bust each other out. That's what I think, with nuclear bombs. Like, I think Russia's faking nuclear bombs too. But they can't say the United States is faking nuclear bombs because they're faking it too. So they both got to shut up. You know what I mean? And, when I used to really, really be into CIA whistleblowers.
Oh yeah.
And John Stockwell was one of my favorites. I loved hearing about the evil shit the CIA did from actual CIA whistleblowers. And one thing that kept coming up was quite a few people in the CIA, high up in the military, intelligence, when they retire, they have this little side hustle going on, selling like arms to like random, like Estonia or fucking Paraguay, or like these, like everyone's got their own little connections that they formed while they were in some kind of official in the government.
Yeah.
And so that always came up, like, damn, that makes sense. They're like, it's like selling weed on the side. They're retired, but they're selling arms, and they got connections to the military industrial complex. So that had me thinking about you always hear about government officials getting busted selling nuclear secrets, right? They're like, they're selling nuclear secrets. Like, I bet there's a lot of countries that believe that nuclear bombs are real, and those officials in those countries are taken advantage of, and they're hustled by our officials and maybe even Russian officials that are selling shit on the side. Like, they go, I could sell you some nuclear secrets. I can't guarantee you'll be able to build a bomb, but I could sell you some.
Could just be blackmail material for all we know.
Yeah, so maybe like for a couple mil, they just fucking. There's probably like these not pamphlets, but like documents and files and stuff that they all make copies of, and they're all selling and ripping off these third world countries, all scrambling trying to make nuclear bombs. You know what I mean?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they're just like, yeah, 2 million, it's like a hustle, and it's probably out, and they know they're not. It's a bullshit documents with no chance of building a nuclear bomb because there is no nuclear bombs. But you always hear about people, former government officials, getting busted for selling nuclear secrets. Like, oh man, these guys are hustling these third world countries and just ripping them off.
Oh, that very well could be true. It is interesting too with Trump. Like his stated goal going back to the 1980s is to denuclearize the entire world. He wants to work with Russia and China to denuke the world. If you go back on my Twitter, I have a
Who's this?
article.
Trump? Trump said that?
Trump said this in a 1987 interview. I could even show you the article. His biggest plan that he was working on at the time was denuclearization. And so if you come to the understanding, or if you believe that nukes aren't real, what does that even really mean then? What does it mean to denuclearize when nuclear weapons don't even exist? And that's like
he could believe that they're real. Because most people think nuclear bombs are real. Most people in government, I would say, probably
at this point,
every president probably thinks that. Like, why would you let the cat out of the bag?
Yeah. At this point, though, he probably has to know, right? Like, you'd think after being in office and the level of intelligence he would have access to, if nukes are fake, he would know that. But he's still talking about the denuclearization, because that's the thing, that Trump is very good at disarming narrative threats like this. And so if the world and the globalists and the elites, the deep state or whatever, are holding the threat of nukes over everybody's head using this fear tactic, Trump's going to take away that weapon from them by denuclearizing the world. And he doesn't even have to expose that nukes are fake to do it. He just has to make good with Russia and all these other countries. And everybody's like, okay, I guess no more nukes.
Yeah.
And then
meanwhile, there's no nukes anyways.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of deal. Like, like Russia can say, okay, we're going to get rid of our nukes, but you got to do this for us. So they get something for free, and they're not denuking shit. They just, there's no nukes. I think just bombs, bombs are like slingshots these days. I mean, have you seen these videos? There's documentaries on BBC. This is mainstream information that they got lasers that they don't need bombs. They have lasers that take shit out.
The rods from God too.
If you have direct energy weapons, that shit is real. It's Star fucking Wars. It's a fact that they got lasers, and they're it's on BBC documentary. Oh, they're gonna save so much money. It's gonna be. They don't need bombs. They're just boom. They just shine a fucking laser and shit blows up.
Yeah.
Why are we making bombs? Why is there bombs?
It's the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, they got to keep making bombs or pretend they're making bombs, right?
Exactly.
I wonder if they make fake bombs. I wonder if shitload of missiles there's nothing in them.
Here's another concept. Okay, so Trump's golden dome that he's talking about, right? This golden dome, where it's going to be they're going to use satellites and space lasers. And I actually interviewed General Quast on my daily show about this. The technology they're talking about in there is satellites in space are going to have space lasers that will basically be able to dismantle or destroy a nuke in its silo before it even takes off. They will be able to detect that a nuke is being activated and then zap it and have it explode in its silo right there. That technology, whether it exists or not, doesn't matter. But if they say it exists and everybody believes it, you just denuke the whole world.
Yeah, and exactly. And whoever's involved in the manufacturing of these satellites, they're going to make a lot of money. All they got to do is convince people, oh, this is what it's going to do. Meanwhile, there's no nukes. Meanwhile, satellites are on balloons. They're not floating in fucking space. They're on fucking balloons, and they're admitting they're on balloons. Now, I don't know if you've seen, they have high-level documentaries. They're not even hiding it. They're going, oh, you know what? We're going to start putting satellites on balloons. And as a matter of fact, this one company already has thousands of satellites already on balloons. It's cheaper. And we can control them better and all that shit.
Makes you wonder about that Chinese balloon that was floating over the United States. Was that just
you could look at 1950s military films, Navy films. The satellites started on balloons. They were always on balloons.
Oh yeah.
And then sometime in the 60s, they figured out and go, hey, it's going to be a lot more expensive. We're going to need a lot more money, but hey, we figured out a way to fucking get satellites to float in space. It's just going to cost like 1,000 times more. But that's what we're going to do because, for our own security. And, the Russians are going to do it too. So we got to do it. So we got to spend the money, So then starting in the 60s, they figured out how to fucking have satellites floating in space. And then through the 70s and 80s, they're fucking rolling in the dough. Meanwhile, they were always on balloons, and they've always been on balloons. And now they're going, listen, we're going to save money. We're going to put them on balloons because people are figuring it out. There's not one picture of a satellite in space that's real. You go Google satellites in space, and they're all cartoons.
Interesting.
Some people are cool with cartoons, though. Some people go, I'm not cool with cartoons. Some people are cool with cartoons. Some people are, though. They're like, it's a cartoon, but it's real.
I've never actually researched any of that. That's very interesting. But I always think the
satellites
balloon
are
stuff.
on balloons, and there's many videos, and they admit it already, and they take you to the factories and show you, the balloons, and they're like huge, like hot air balloons. They're huge.
Oh, I mean, it's the spy balloon that was over the United States. That's essentially
there's satellites. They have satellites on, and they know how to control. They can control them with like the wind currents and all that shit. There's documentaries that explain all that shit. There's
crazy.
thousands of them. They're like probably, I don't know, maybe like 80,000 feet up, maybe 100,000 feet up. But they're like, commercial planes fly at like 35,000 or whatever.
Yep.
They're way above that shit. That's why, like, think about this. A satellite is like the size of a small car, right?
Yep.
Apparently, that's what they say.
Yep.
And commercial airlines are probably like the size of 20 cars or something, right? Something like that, 15, 20, 25,
Sure.
I don't know.
Huh.
And they fly at 35,000 feet, right? And you could barely see that motherfucker at 35,000.
Yeah, that's true.
So you could barely see something that's the size of 20 fucking cars. You could barely see it, and that thing's 35,000 feet up. But now, something that's the size of one car, and it's in fucking space, and people are like, "Oh, you could see the satellites. You could see the." No, you don't. You're seeing them. The satellites that people see, they're on balloons, and they're way lower than space.
Yeah.
Like
interesting. I can be sold on that, man.
Oh, dude, they're on balloons. I'll send you some videos, dude. I mean,
you should. I'll check it out.
It's a fact, dog. They're lying about everything, man. Everything.
I totally believe it. And we actually we're getting. That's another thing that's so exciting about the Trump administration now is like we're starting to get proof of all the lies from the media and the intelligence community because they're declassing all the bullshit Trump was selling us.
What I think is probably the best meat slice in the game. It's called a row drag. Super simple, awesome combo. Before we get to the truck, throw a little pass on top of that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get really good at that truck transition. How about you get really ninja with the row drag? The knee slice. Push them down, butterfly, boom, bam, boom. Here. 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 And then the fishnet, knee to the stomach, low the handle, break the frames, and then boom. Pull this out, grab my forearm, pop, pop. That's all the best shit from Twister Side Control right there in one throw. You guys want to go back and forth a little bit? Ready? Go.
Or not Trump, Obama and his intelligence community and what they did with the Russia collusion hoax. I don't know if you followed any of that.
Oh, no, that's all coming out now. See, that's another thing that makes me think that, Trump's a good guy, because he was taught. Nobody would remember or even think about Russian collusion, that whole hoax with the Steele dossier, all that shit. Nobody like all that fucking shit. What was that? There's so many people involved. Like what was the guy's name? Glenn Simpson or something that owned
Simpson. Yeah, Fusion GPS.
Nobody would. That's such a deep cut in politics. It's like, and why would they bring that shit out now? You know what I mean? But people that pay attention know that it's been a long fucking time. Trump never forgot about that shit. If you listen to Trump's speeches, he always brings up, they spied on my campaign and we caught him. He always says that. If he was deep state, like he had no reason to say that. Why would you bring that shit up?
Exactly.
Why would you bring it up?
Today?
And why would they spy on him if he was with them? You know what I mean?
I think today we got the most damning piece of like evidence against all of them that we've gotten to date. DNI Gabbard declassified another set of this House Intel Committee or Senate Intel Committee did a report, and they went through the intelligence and what they actually had. And holy shit, man, it's like I've been so skeptical that we'd actually see justice on any of this stuff because we've just been rug pulled routinely. It's like everything we get excited about, rug pull, excited, rug pull. Yeah. But this one, it's, man, like I think they're going to actually go there, and they're talking about Obama with the treason and everything. Yeah. The intelligence that our intelligence community had intercepted Russian intelligence, and some of this, did you see the shit about Hillary Clinton in there yet?
Like she's a psycho and she was taking like she was on tranquilizers and shit.
All that shit, yeah.
How crazy is that?
that was from DNC Communications. Like, so DNC emails, they were talking about that, and our intelligence community buried it so that they could frame Trump instead. Like, it's nuts.
You know, there's all these theories. You know, we talked about 3 or 4 of the theories, like on why Trump is saying that Epstein is boring. You know, that's so crazy. It's boring. The most ridiculous thing he could say. And then we have our theories on it. You know, maybe it's just to shine a light on it and get the mainstream media to really talk about it, which they weren't before. They didn't talk about releasing shit when Biden was in office. Here's another theory. Again, I don't know shit, man. I'm hoping for the best, but fuck, man, Trump might be in those files. I don't know, dog. I don't know. Who knows how it's all going to turn out? But what if those files, there's a really good chance that the CIA is in those files and Mossad is in those files. There's a really good chance of that. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, the whole Israeli connection. What if the reason why Trump is backing off is what if like Israel said, yo, okay. Because if you're going to jail forever, you're going to go to prison forever, you're going to go to Guantanamo Bay or whatever, your life is over. I'm asking you, you're going to prison, you have a choice. Go to prison forever or live through World War III. What would you choose?
Like, what do you mean live through World War III?
Yeah, you're free, but all of a sudden we're in World War III. The whole world is at war, and it's World War III, and it's just chaos everywhere. And shit's like most countries are locked down. There's all these bombs going. It's World War III. Like whatever World War III is, whatever that is, what would you rather have? Be in prison for your whole life or World War III?
So, like, if I go to prison, World War III wouldn't happen?
Exactly.
Oh, man, shit, that's a tough question. I mean, considering I have kids and all that stuff.
Not if you were a criminal and you were actually guilty, you're a criminal, it's not you or the good guy, because a good guy might say, you know what, to save the world, I'll go to prison, you know what I mean? But no, you're a criminal. You have a criminal mind.
The enemy, for sure, would rather see World War III than themselves.
Of course. And World War III, and not only that, but World War III, if it actually did happen, would save them from a life in prison, because there would be so much chaos. And more chaotic this World War III is, the better. Like, the more chaotic. They don't want, like, a soft World War III where everyone's just going on with their lives, and then you hear on the news about the bombs that are going off, like, but people are still, you know, out there with their kids playing soccer and shit. You'd want the World War III that fucking locked everybody down and everybody's fucking in their bunkers, right? The worse the World War III is, the better for the criminals that are about to go to prison, right?
For sure.
Of course. So what if, and they're trying to start World War III, like the whole Iran thing, like, oh, let's just fucking do this shit. Let's just start World War III and let's fucking go. And then these Epstein files, they fucking, who's going to take us to court when it's World War III and everybody's on lockdown? There's no courts. There's no fucking people getting sentenced to prison. It's World War III at the maximum. And then a Mad Max existence is right around the corner. Oh, they would love that shit. Like, the World War III is so bad that we live in a Mad Max world. The criminal minds that are have shit that's going to put them in prison forever, they would rather have World War III, Mad Max situation.
100%.
So what if the deal was, like all these people that are in these files, all like CIA, Mossad, all this shit. What if they said, Trump, we're gonna start World War fucking 3 and there's nothing you could do about it, and we're gonna go fucking big, dude. You see what we're doing with Iran? This is just the beginning. We're about to fucking go, dog. We're going World War fucking 3 unless you kill those fucking Epstein files. What if Epstein's or Trump's deal was like, damn, shit, all I gotta do is kill the Epstein files and then I saved the world from World War 3? What if that's the deal?
It could be. I mean, there's so many hypotheticals around it. You could make the same argument like we're going to start World War III or you just drop out of the race, right? I think Trump has gotten far enough for him to get back into power. It takes some of the possibilities off the table. I keep going back to one of Trump's Truth Social posts about the Epstein files where I even pulled it up. I don't know if you can let me share my screen or not, but yeah. I think it's important to read this.
Hold on. Share, boom. Multiple can share. There you go.
Okay.
I think you can share now. Try that.
Yeah, let me show you this. He talks about the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, which we're getting disclosure on now. The Line 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter's bathroom. Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. I think it was to hide a lot more than that. But he's comparing the new scam is what we'll forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. The previous things he's talking about here, which is the Steele dossier, the 51 intelligence agencies lying about the laptop, the Russia hoax, even how they covered up the mid-year exam, the email investigation to Hillary Clinton's emails. That was all dirty tricks by the intelligence community. And so when he equates the Jeffrey Epstein hoax to those things, in my mind, it makes it another intelligence community fabrication. So like, what if the intelligence community was actually faking materials in this file to use as blackmail material against world leaders or political elite? Like that's a possibility to me that I'm starting to think about, that if we're starting to get proof of our intelligence community and how willing they are to like just fake whatever, do whatever, say whatever, just to get the media on board and all in to vilify Trump and all these things, is it possible that they would also behind the scenes, like especially with what AI is doing these days and technology, the AI we're getting right now is who knows how far behind what the military and the intelligence agencies have publicly. Is it possible that they've been faking stuff on world leaders or political elite just to control them? And I also believe fully that there are world elites that do blackmail and are pedophiles and all the satanic shit too. I 100% believe that stuff exists. Totally. So I'm not saying that's not true or not real. But when Trump says it's a hoax and there's fake stuff in there, which he's alluded to more than just that one post, but multiple other posts and even interviews, I think there's aspects of the files that maybe we'll even get proof of eventually that have been fabricated by our intelligence community.
Absolutely. 4 years of the Biden administration. I mean, who knows what the fuck they did? And, with AI, the one cool thing about AI, the one cool thing, because everyone's scared to death of AI, is real soon, and even like now, but it's not as advanced as it's going to be within a year, but everybody is going to be able to make a movie, a high-level movie. Movies are going to be so easy to make. And that's good news because most movies won't be woke then.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, the only movies that are coming out, they have to go through the pipeline. You have to sell your script, and then you have to go through Miramax, and you go through fucking, Warner Brothers. And by the time that script gets through all that shit, they wokeify it. Like every TV show is fucking woke as shit. Most movies are pretty fucking woke, unless.
And they're all reruns too. Like we're getting like remakes of the same movie we got 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like there's no new originality in any of these things.
You always hear from script writers that, I sold my script, and by the time they made it, they changed so much shit. They're always unhappy because they changed so much shit. It seems like, the deep state, in regards to Hollywood, like the people that are making all the moves, they don't know how to write scripts. Yeah. So they get like legit scripts, and they get all these people, they get legit scripts, and they pick the ones that they could twist a little bit and wokeify it, So, AI is going to make it so that anybody can make a movie. So there's going to be dude, there's going to be fucking awesome movies coming.
I'm excited about that too, man.
I believe that. I believe because like I'm excited because I have a couple stupid ideas for movies, but I could never get them made because I don't want to have anything to do with fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know. So, but with AI, man, it's going to be easy and they're going to look great. And what's going to matter is the story. You know, the comedy. You don't have to worry about fucking, you know, the comedy or anything. You could just do anything you want. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to.
I agree. I agree with that totally.
And it kind of happened too with the internet and even like YouTube. Just something as simple as YouTube is I never watch regular TV. The only time I watch regular TV is I'm a big football fan. I accept that football's a trick. I accept it.
Yeah.
I accept that sports were designed to distract us from what's really going on and so that we pay attention so much to sports that we don't have time to figure out how they're fucking us. You know, but I do spend time figuring out how they're fucking us. I spend a lot of time, but then there's times where I don't want to think about fucking Biden or Trump or nothing. And I want to lose myself. So I use football as meditation to get away. Yeah. So it was created to distract me from the truth, but I'm so deep in the truth, I need distraction from the truth sometimes, you know, myself.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So I get into football every day I watch football podcasts during the off season. Like today, I already watched 3. During the off season, I can't go politics all day. I'll just go insane.
Who's your team, by the way?
Cleveland Browns.
Really?
I know.
They got like 12 quarterbacks right now. What's going on?
Yeah, totally. It's awesome. I love it, man. You know, I am not from Cleveland. I'm from Los Angeles, and my brother's 4 years older than me. And growing up, you know, your older brother, his job was to humiliate you and make you cry in front of the neighborhood kids, you know what I mean? So he was always trying to humiliate me. And I love him to death, but when you're growing up, you just can't help it, you know what I mean? I did that to people too. I was trying to humiliate younger kids too. And then I was an asshole myself. So he had a big baseball card collection and I was jealous and I didn't have anything. And he pulled out a card, and it was the Cleveland Indians. It was Dennis Eckersley's rookie card for the Cleveland Indians. I don't know how much it would have been worth now, but he gave it to me because Cleveland was a joke. They've always been a joke. There's movies about the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians are like a baseball joke. And so he gave it to me. He goes, "Here, you could have this card." And I looked at the card. And I vowed to make him regret giving me that. So then I instantly just became a Cleveland Indians fan, Cleveland Cavaliers fan, Cleveland Browns fan. This is like 1978. I was into Brian Saib. I don't know if you're old school, but I was
Jim Brown, wasn't he back then? Or
Jim
he
Brown was the
before
60s.
That?
He was the 60s.
He retired before that.
Yeah, the 80s was the Cardiac Kids, Brian Saib, Dave Logan, and then Bernie Kosar took over.
Yeah.
But I'm hardcore into football. Hardcore, and I'm well aware that it's designed to.
I'm the same way, man. I watch the Vikings. It's hard to break away from that because you grow up watching it and you get this passion for it.
You got to have some mindless shit you enjoy, like
Absolutely. Totally agree. I love sports, baseball too. I was a huge baseball fan growing up, and
you still watch baseball.
I don't watch it as much as I used to. It's just the seasons are so long, and those games are so long too. I watch playoffs. I'm much more into like. Football, I'll watch all the Vikings games if I can.
You like JJ McCarthy?
I don't know yet. I'm not sold.
Not sure? You're not sure? They're so sold on him that they got rid of Sam Darnold. What the fuck?
I know. Well,
why would you do that?
He's going to be expensive. That was
is that what it was? They couldn't afford him?
And did you see how he choked in the playoffs against the Rams? Like,
at least you got to the playoffs. Everybody chokes in the playoffs except the team that won the Super Bowl. They all choke, you know. As long as you got to get to the playoffs, and eventually look at Josh Allen. He's been to the playoffs 1,000 times. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah. One thing our coach is so solid. Like he's such a good quarterbacks coach that I think we'll eventually hit pay dirt on one of these quarterbacks, and he's shown like it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, he can make it work. You know,
who's the second quarterback?
Well, before Darnold, he had Kirk Cousins. Like Kirk Cousins did great, but when he got hurt, what was his name? Who was the guy they had as backup to Cousins? Because it wasn't Darnold.
In the Vikings, I don't know the backup.
Yeah, I don't. This was 2 years ago. shit, I'm brain
Kirk
farting now.
Cousins went to Atlanta, the Falcons.
Yep.
He started off hot, but then he fell off a cliff.
Yeah, and they
think-
sat him.
Yeah, and he was going to go to the Browns. You know, the Browns, because we needed a veteran to usher in a rookie, because it was all about getting a rookie. They had their eyes on Shedeur Sanders for the longest time. It's crazy. The whole Shedeur Sanders thing is nuts.
Do you think he'll start?
Eventually.
Think so?
I think so. Eventually.
Because who was the other quarterback they drafted before him again?
Dylan Gabriel,
That's right.
who's amazing in college, but he's only 5'11". That's the
he's
whole
teeny.
thing. If he was 6'2", he would be like the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
I mean, he was undefeated in the regular season, beat Ohio State, won a playoff game. He's awesome. He's just super short. He's like Kyler Murray, so, but they like him. He has a good arm. He makes great decisions, super cerebral. They like him. He's just like small. I don't know if that's going to work out. But Shedeur has the work ethic, man. That guy is just like practicing after practice, and on days off he's practicing. His work ethic is insane. You just don't, work ethic.
You don't
ain't
see
enough.
that.
Yeah, work ethic ain't enough to win.
I wouldn't have
real
expected that
games.
from him, because the way the media's presented him is like this entitled kind of spoiled.
Yeah, I get
brat.
that though. I get it, because now that college players are getting paid, and he comes from a wealthy family like Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, the greatest athlete probably of all time, because Deion Sanders, he played baseball and football at the highest level. He was playing
he was
both.
nuts.
Like Michael Jordan played basketball at the highest level, obviously.
Sucked
But
at
when he
baseball.
played baseball, he was like, he sucked.
Yeah.
Right? But Deion Sanders was good at baseball and football. And, as far
He's a
as
good coach too.
Yeah, exactly. So he comes from that. He comes from a lot of money, and then Deion Sanders got, he's got that persona, Mr. Flash, prime time, so that rubbed off on Shedeur. Shedeur's making all sorts of money in college. He's fucking all into like making rap videos too. I think he's a rapper. And, he's got his gold chains and his diamonds and all that shit. I think he has a grill too. I don't know. A diamond grill. I don't know. So I could see that turning off teams. Like, wait a minute, we're going to deal with this guy coming in with this fucking crazy, larger than life personality. And he hasn't even played one snap in the pros. And he's coming in here like he's a god, NFL owners and general managers are used to rookies coming in, like Cam Ward. Super, he was super not flashy. And I wouldn't call him humble, because he's super confident about himself, but he realizes that, you're a rookie, dog. It's so many first round draft picks, tank. It means nothing. There's been I would say
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them, like 75% of first round draft pick quarterbacks, they fucking die. And then the quarterbacks that went like, they got picked like 28th. Like I think Lamar Jackson was like at the bottom.
30, I think
round.
even.
Yeah. And then Tom Brady was like, he was the worst ever. He was like a 6th round draft pick.
6th or 7th round pick. Yeah. The Shedeur Sanders thing is interesting, because Trump tweeted about him. He was like, what are these NFL owners doing? Like, I can't believe you guys haven't picked Shedeur Sanders yet. He was trying to like dictate the draft, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, he did pardon Kodak Black. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I don't know if you know about Kodak Black. I just recently took a deep dive into Kodak Black and the song Skrilla. That's such a great song. I totally missed it. It was huge, but I wasn't paying attention to rap for the longest time, or music. Like I used to DJ. I DJ'd for 10 years at a strip club.
Oh, wow.
And I was on top of the latest music, like in the 90s, the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I was on top of everything. I knew every genre. I knew everything. The more you know, the more you make in the DJ world. So, but, during the late 2000s, the 2010s, and all, I didn't pay attention to nothing. So I missed so much of there's so many huge rappers that I'm just finding out about them.
Yeah.
recently I go, you know what? Let me go back and find some good shit. There's got to be some good shit. And I always heard about Kodak Black because on my Instagram, Kodak Black always goes live. And, on the top, there's like a strip where you could press it, Kodak Black going live, and I never press it because I'm like, I don't even know one Kodak Black song. I just thought he was cool because, Trump pardoned him. But now I'm like doing deep dives on like rap from the 2010s. Holy shit. The rap videos are in every rap video. It seems like these videos should be illegal, to tell you the truth. There's so much
because of what?
Guns and money and drugs, and they got songs where the music videos that are inside like some coke warehouse where they're like making the coke and
no way.
And it seems like every rap video got to have a lot of money. Have
you heard?
I could see. I'm sure there was some music video sets where like the director was like, "We don't got enough money. Can we get more money?
Yeah.
We don't have enough money. We just have 3 stocks. Can we get more money? $1 million?" And there's a video that's shot in a jewelry store. Like they're rapping and they got all this cash and they got guns and they're like in a jewelry store. It's insane. It's crazy. It's like, dude, and no one says shit about that. No one says shit about that. Super illegal activity going on in these videos, and everybody's fine with it. I love it. But I'm like, I can't believe this is allowed.
Well, have you heard the conspiracy theory that the CIA was the ones who like essentially created the rap industry?
Exactly. It's so obvious when you're watching these videos. That's why they're not saying shit. This is what they want. Because, apparently there's some people that own, some powerful people that own private prisons, and, the more prisoners there are in these private prisons, it's like, doesn't the government pay for that? Like, if the government's like, they subsidize, right? I don't know exactly how it works, but like a private company does something that the government should be doing, the government say, yeah, do it for us. We don't have, help us out. We'll pay.
They can charge more and all that shit.
Yeah. And then they exactly. They're paying like per prisoner. So the more prisoners you have, the more money you make. So of course, the people who own private prisons, they love rap videos. They love any kind of media, any kind of music video, any kind of movie, TV show, whatever that promotes a lifestyle that will put you
degeneracy.
in prison. Yeah, that'll put you in prison. They love that shit.
Yeah, that's a fun conspiracy theory too, because there's some sauce to that, man.
Ice Cube talked about it, and I think the one rapper that really got down and explained it was one of the dudes in Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
He was saying like there was a meeting, and a bunch of rappers, they signed like NDAs or whatever.
Yep.
And then once they found out what the meeting was about, they said, dude, we want fucking crime committed in these music videos to put people in prison, and you're going to be making money too. And they said they offered them like a piece, like you be making money too. We'll give you a little equity. You know what I mean? And according to this dude's testimony, he said that 1, 2, or 3 rappers got up and got the fuck out and didn't want to have anything to do with it.
I've heard this too.
Isn't that fucking nuts? Makes sense.
I think it ties to.
Makes sense. If I was CIA, I'd go, yeah, green light that shit. That's a great idea.
100%. And they do this. They're behind so many different aspects too. But the one interesting part is think of how we're being told the rap industry is like, it's been glorified, right? So all these young people coming up, they want to be like the next P. Diddy. And so P. Diddy brings them in under their wings. And then now there's this whole like sex allegation and scandal side of things too that's coming in the background too, which they use for control, blackmail and control. And that connects together. Like it's all connected together just because they wanted more prisoners and to profit at the prison level. It's all fascinating.
Yeah, like how many P. Diddy's are there? He can't be the only one.
Oh, no way.
There's got to be a rock P. Diddy, like someone in the rock. Like what's P. Diddy's job? P. Diddy's job is to bring in new talent, blackmail them with some baby oil type stuff.
Probably,
and allegedly. And that's how you control the music business. Apparently, I don't know, someone said that P. Diddy said, I'm not looking for talent. I'm looking for people that I can control. Talent, there's a lot of talent everywhere. Talent means shit if you can't control the person. So that's got to be how Hollywood works. That's got to be how the rock industry. There's got to be who's the rock, who's the grunge.
It's a good question.
The grunge, because who's the grunge P. Diddy? I'm not saying shit, but I think every genre they got somebody.
But they
Gets
have it
everybody
everywhere.
on drugs. There's like one dude. He's got all the power. He's untouchable. Cops are on his side. Everyone's paid off.
It's not just entertainment, though. So there's an interesting article out there, and this will be a fascinating discussion for that Chris guy was telling you about because he's done his research into this. But Peter Thiel and Silicon Valley, there's like rumors that this is essentially what's going on there. Like if you want to make it in Silicon Valley, anybody can fucking code. Like they can bring in some guy from India to code. But if you want to be the next like Apple and get your big investment from Palantir and Peter Thiel and whatnot, there's rumors of what needs to be done in order to get that money.
That makes sense.
It's in every industry. Every industry.
Not everybody can sing. I would say 1 out of 20 people can sing, like naturally.
Sure.
You could learn, you could develop your voice, but those natural singers, it's like 1 in 20 in my experience. Not everybody could sing. 1 out of 20 people can sing. But damn, there's millions and millions and millions of people in this world. So there's millions of fucking people that could sing. So you might think you're special. I got a great voice. My mom thinks I have a great voice. All my friends think I have a great voice. I'm always the fucking life of the party at karaoke night. You know what I mean? But there's a shit ton of people that could sing. Just because you're the only one in your group that could sing. So it makes sense that one person that said, Diddy said, I'm not looking for talent. I'm looking for people that I can control. He said that allegedly. I don't know. That makes sense to me. Yeah, like why would you want someone talented, but you can't control them and they defy you and they're not willing to play ball, in the game you created, So that makes sense. You're talking about Silicon Valley, like there a shit ton of people can code, right? Not everybody can code. Not everybody has the mind. I can't code. I'm the last motherfucker. I can't code. I can't cook. I can't clean. That's the last fucking thing. I do clean my gym though. I do at my gym. I'm like all of a sudden I clean, but like my own shit, my own car. I never wash my car. I wash my car twice a year, maybe.
Yeah,
if that.
Hey, with AI though, you can code. You can have AI now, which is one of the fascinating things. AI is going to take out some of that industry because you can have it write an entire code for you to create a website and do all the things you want to do, and you just like, hey, I want this change. I want this change. Like I've done it before. You can create video games out of it.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Now you hear that? You hear someone's talking about it. Like it's like floating around Instagram. We're like, AI can't take welders' jobs. They can't take roofers' jobs. They can't take electricians' jobs. They can't take the plumbers, but they can. They're going to take the coders. So everyone that said you should get into coding and fuck all that labor
Learn to
shit,
code.
they're in for a treat.
That's interesting.
Now, before we go, the thing that's really scary about Trump, like again, I don't know, man. Maybe he is in those files. I don't know. But like the whole Peter Thiel and Palantir connection. What do you think about that? That's pretty scary. Or is he shining a light on it? Or maybe Peter Thiel is like, he turned to the good side and is like, you know what? I'm going to use all this AI for good because there's a lot of people using AI for bad. And now Peter Thiel is awakened and maybe he's trying to do the right thing. Or Trump is with them and, Trump is like into that fucking police surveillance state type shit for real. And he's pretending like he's not. Or just like vaccines, just like Elon Musk, he's trying to give Palantir and Peter Thiel the Elon Musk treatment. What do you think?
So here's my thing on Trump. I am a big fan of Trump. Obviously, I'm might be a little biased here, but I do believe that if Trump is not like fighting for us and the people and like sovereignty everywhere, because I do think there's a group of world leaders, the good twins in many countries, that are actually fighting for true sovereignty, and they're fighting against the globalists and the deep state who want essentially a one world government where they can control and kill people whenever they want, enrich themselves, power, pedophilia, you name it. That's what the deep state is, and that's what we're up against. And for the longest time, those people had all the levers of power. It was just a matter of like putting everybody to sleep to the point where they could pull it off and like pull the wool over our eyes. And they were well on their way. Trump comes in, and they've gone after him like very heavily. A lot of it has been in the narrative battle space, trying to win a narrative war against Trump, but Trump's done a very good job of combating that. When it comes to, these moments in time now where this administration, I don't know if Trump wasn't in office right now, how much of what we see playing out would still be playing out anyway. Like how much of what Trump is actually doing is just drafting off of plans that were already in place that would have been, we could have had a DeSantis or even a JD Vance in office instead. Would we really be seeing much different? Like we don't know what we don't know yet. And this is the part that I think is so fascinating is we haven't reached the conclusion of this story yet. And I think it goes all the way back to the stuff we're seeing now with the Russiagate, and the whole reason the Russiagate stuff even started was because of Benghazi. Like they had to cover up the Benghazi email scandal, and when they saw Trump was starting to win, they needed to figure out a way to like prevent him from being in office. And when that didn't work, they had to like, oh shit, well now Obama directed his intelligence community to delegitimize Trump, and this whole thing has been just years and a decade in the making. And so I don't think we've seen the end of it. When it comes to like what side of the aisle Trump is on, it's hard for me to imagine a scenario where they've gone so hard against the guy, and we're getting more proof of how hard they've gone against the guy, for me to believe that he's on their side and really working with them. And if that's true, like we're fucked anyway, man. If Trump is not who we think he is and he's not a good dude, they're just playing with their food at this point and we're fucked. Yeah. And I don't think that's the case. Palantir, the exposure of these people and what they're doing, like that interview that Palantir CEO did was insane. The dude was like hopped up on drugs, and the government already has all of our data. At any point in time, they could be listening to this fucking interview right now, man. Like they probably are. They have any and all information they could possibly want about us. So why would they advertise a story about Palantir? Is it to shine a light on it and piss everybody off? That's probably the most likely scenario. Is Palantir the good guys? I don't think so. I don't even think JD Vance is necessarily a good guy, and that's something that you say on the internet or in front of mega people. They're like, oh, what? You're insane. Like, what do you mean JD Vance? JD Vance is like Peter Thiel's butt buddy, essentially. Like that is his protege. And you look at who Peter Thiel is, there are some genuine questions that need to be asked. That interview he did for the New York Times where he's like, you think of trans, like, I don't know if I want the human race to survive. And, think of transhumanism or transgenderism, like we want transhumanism where part of what you are isn't even a real thing. It's just all computerized and AI. That's not a person I think that should be dictating the terms of where we go as a society. But yet he's being like thrust upon us in the form of JD Vance. People are already talking about JD Vance being the next president for the next 8 years. And I can't imagine Trump would allow that to happen as he's outgoing. So I think there's more going on than any of us can understand.
So why have JD Vance as the vice president? Why would Trump allow that? What do you think
I think at some point he's going to get exposed. I also don't, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump goes for another term. But I don't think it's necessarily good. JD Vance could be a total good guy too. Like this is what I'm saying. I don't know for sure. There's so much I don't know, and it's hard to speculate one way or the other. I could see arguments for him being a good dude. I've seen arguments for him not being a good dude. I don't know, but I believe Trump knows better than any of us. And if naming him as the vice president, when you really think like the vice president, you don't get much attention. Like he's not getting the attention he would get if he was on a congressional committee and like doing all these things. He's like he kind of has become this afterthought, but he's going on all these major podcasts to try to keep himself relevant, but yet they're still crowning him as the heir apparent anyway. And I don't necessarily know if that's exactly what Trump wants. I think there's more game theory behind that pick than people think. And he got named the vice president right after Trump almost got assassinated. Like why the timing of that, and why him? Like hey, we almost just killed you.
I didn't make that connection.
It was like 2 days later or something.
So before he was shot, there was no JD Vance.
Nope. It was like 2 days later that they named, I think July 15th.
Damn.
So was that his thing? Like, hey, we're going to take you out unless you name him as your vice president? Like there's so much we don't know, but if people always look at JD Vance as this good guy, and I don't think you should look at anybody that way. You should always look at everybody with a little bit of critical thinking and look at different aspects of it, because his ties to Peter Thiel should not be trusted, in my opinion.
Yeah. John, you're a bad motherfucker, man. This was awesome.
Oh, thanks. It was a good time.
I love catching up on the latest, this whole Trump saga.
It's like never ending.
I know.
We thought it was over when Biden stole the election, and little did we know it was just the beginning. Right?
There's so much more to come,
Everybody
too.
thought Trump was going to disappear. Oh, look, your boy Trump, where is he at now? Everyone's like, see, you fucking idiot. That was your boy, where is he at now? And then that's when Q just disbanded. Everybody jumped ship. And I think it's a good thing because now they can't use Q against anybody. So I think maybe that's part of the strategy. Hey, we're going to ridicule, we're going to make it so that you could, because during the Q movement, when it was strong, if you bailed on it, you're a fucking traitor. You're a piece of shit. So you can't bail on it. Even if you're getting pressure from your job or from whatever, you can't bail because damn, now you're stuck. Because if you bail, everybody in Q is gonna consider you a shill or a sellout, right? But the fact that,
still do that.
the Q ship, but not as much because now everyone understands why you would bail and jump ship.
Yeah.
Look, Trump let us down. He didn't win the election. He's gone now. Trump's over. That was just a distraction to get Biden in or whatever. So then it was okay to jump off the Q ship. While people jumped off, they were still in, but they can say, no, I'm not Q no more. I'm not Q no more. You know, it's so ridiculous. You still believe in Q? You still believe in Q? You're just...
I never actually read the drops. Did you ever read the drops?
Like on Instagram. I've never been on like 4chan or 8chan. I never did that. I just like whatever was online.
Yeah.
You know,
that was my experience too. I had people so I have my network Badlands Media, and we have over the course of the couple of years had Q shows, like dedicated people who've read all the drops and do shows based on it. And so I'll see drops every now and then, but I've never read through all the drops, even though I can see, I believe they're legitimate, and you don't have to read it to understand that. Just the timeline of how they got implemented in the circumstances surrounding their implementation.
The way they smeared it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, dude, they were on mainstream media, on like CNBC and fucking CNN. They had, Q's over. We found the guy who created Q. It was on national news. They had the guy. They had his face shadowed out because he didn't want people to know what he looked like, and they distorted his voice. And he goes, "Yeah, you know, it started off as a joke. You know, I was in my grandma's basement. And, you know, I was on 4chan, and then it kind of just got out of hand. And you know, now you know I'm not doing it no more. So you know, it's over." So I said, "There it is, Q. We found Q, and he's not doing it no more." So to me, it was like, "Yo, you guys did that." There's something to Q. There's like, and then the whole like HBO documentary on him, like, yo, they're good. And anybody that entertained the idea that these could be legitimate drops from like white hats, they were, you know, on their Wikipedia, oh, this guy's a QAnon, you know, believer and all that shit. So all that was telling me like, damn, we're right over the target, man. So there's something to it. You know, I don't know what's going on. It could all be one of them they say, oh, it's a Bolshevik psyop. They did that in the 30s. It could be, dog. It could be. But like you said earlier, and like I've said a bunch of times, if Trump is tricking us, there's nothing we could do anyways. What are you gonna do? We're fucked.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Yeah. John, you're awesome, man. Let's do it again. We'll catch up in a few months and see where we're at. Hopefully, the Epstein files get released.
I'm hoping for some arrests, like Obama, Brennan, those people. I think we're going to see some indictments over the next couple months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine if Obama and Hillary get arrested? I think that would satisfy the base. I think so
too.
I think so. Like, who would you rather have arrested, Obama and Hillary, or Les Wexner and the guy who owns Google? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I'd rather have Hillary go down and Obama.
It'd be nice to see both, but anyway, thanks, man. It was always fun.
Thank you, dude. It should be up next week on my Rumble channel.
Sounds good.
Thank you, man. Take it easy. Have a good night.
The Jiu-Jitsu Dojo is the ultimate training ground for life. Jiu-Jitsu will accelerate the evolution of your being, your consciousness, your soul. Through this amazing art, you will prove to yourself that you can master anything you set your mind to.
Happy birthday, Eddie Bravo!
I leave for Brazil tomorrow.
Are you the Fear Factor guy?
I'm like 6 pounds over. Time to sweat it out.
Just imagine someone that has no idea how different your game is.
I'll tell you what this weekend was, man. It was a culmination point where all your hard work comes to like one great moment in time. You showed that you're a fucking champion, guy who goes against convention. You created your own shit and figured interesting ways to get around problems in jiu-jitsu. And shows you that great things are possible if you work hard, if you dedicate yourself, and you use your creativity, and you push through. Your own human potential just goes up.
My 10th Planet Association has grown rapidly to over 70 academies worldwide, and their curriculums are all synced to 10th Planet headquarters located in downtown Los Angeles. I'm Eddie Bravo. I hope to see you on the mats.